Hey guys, Chuck Conry here from Zombie Don't Run, zombiedon'trun.com to be exact right now. You may ask yourself, why would I be uploading a podcast that was originally recorded in 2011? Well, for one, because for years they were lost, and I just recently found them, and two, they were pretty popular at the time, so I thought, why not go out of my way to try to re-upload these things so that people that maybe did not get a chance to listen to them originally will get a chance to listen to them now. And I'm really doing this because I think they're really good. Me and Goop had a good dynamic, good chemistry. It was a very good podcast, especially during the time that it was just me and him. So I wanted to go back, and I found, like, I believe close to 40 episodes. Now, it's not me and him for all of them, but I figured I would at least upload the ones that were of me and him, and the ones that after that, if I thought they were good. There was a time where the podcast kind of went off the rails, which was unfortunate because we really had a good thing going there for a while. I had a bunch of listeners. And you got to think this podcast came out around a time when the boom of podcasts was just first starting. Not the video form and stuff you see now, but the podcast of audio podcasts, they were becoming a big thing, especially in the horror community. You had Dead Pit that had been like the OGs from MySpace and whatnot, and now you had everybody trying to do a podcast. So since I at the time was running zombiedon'trun.net on Blogspot, I thought, well, what a cool concept to have a podcast called Zombies Don't Podcast. And Goob was a guy that I knew from high school. We weren't really close in high school, but we found out soon after that we really had the same interest in horror movies, pro wrestling, the whole nine yards. That is discussed here at the very start of this podcast as well, but I'm just giving you a brief rundown of it. And it started a really good friendship that he and I still have even to this day, even though obviously we don't get to speak as much. Hopefully, if this could gain any steam and you guys enjoy it, maybe we could get him suckered into doing some more podcasts in the future, and we could keep the name and the brand alive now, because while there is a lot of audio and video podcasts, I feel like it's not as crowded as it was, and there's still room for more stuff out there, especially if you can be entertaining, or at least, to me, feel like we're entertaining, or at least interesting. That being said, this podcast is as close to its original form as possible. I have edited out the trailers that used to play before we did each review, and I have edited out like the music that played before the podcast, because I don't really know the rules these days on most of these formats or most of these places that this is going to be hosted. I don't want them to get dragged down, because what's the point of putting them up if they're just going to get yanked back down? So probably each episode will have an intro like this of me touching on it a little bit, and they will be as close to as possible the way they were originally recorded. The audio is not great in all of these. Like I said, this was a different time. This was 2011. We recorded these things on Skype, cheap microphones, so they don't sound the best. But I think the rawness of them helps with them because it's genuine. It's also a different time. So if at any point you might hear a joke that you don't find funny, not that we were necessarily going out of our way to be controversial, because we was not, but if there's something there that offends anybody, I apologize. It was a different time. I'm scanning them. If anything's too bad, I'm probably not going to be on the final cut, which I don't think we really said much out of the way anyhow. But you have two dumb kids at the time from Tennessee, from the sticks of Tennessee, shooting the breeze late at night on Skype. You could get delusional sometimes, setting up late and saying stupid stuff. So I'm trying to make sure nothing's there, and that we're going to be embarrassed as we present to you these shows as us being 40-year-old men. Well, I don't even know if he's 40 yet. I'm 42. I don't even think he's in his 40s yet. I could be wrong. But, older adults now that have, families, kids, lives, jobs, stuff that you don't want, stuff that you might have said when you were stupid to affect. So that being the case, the first episode is Basket Case 2, and the stuff. I feel like we was at our best when we was really going through retro stuff. To my surprise, while listening to this was the first time that Goob had ever seen Basket Case or Basket Case 2. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if he still watches them now. I guess I'll have to ask him. But, yeah, there's going to be old URLs you're going to hear. You're going to hear about zombiesdon'trun.net. That is not the site URL anymore. The URL is zombiedon'trun.com. Zombiedon'trun.com spelled out all together on YouTube. Chuck Conry, if you want to check me out on Instagram or any of that stuff. Brandon Lane can be found online too. Just search his name. And that being said, intro out of the way. Hope you enjoy this retro look at a show that I was pretty proud of when it launched and still proud of today. And I'm happy I found the old episodes. And hopefully a new generation of people will find them, discover them, and like what they hear. So here is a episode 1 called The Relaunch, because I tried to do a podcast before under the name. It didn't work. So this was originally titled The Relaunch Zombie Stone Podcast. Here it's just Zombie Stone Podcast episode 1. Retrospective, sort of, kind of. Old is new type stuff. But yeah, check it out. Hope you like it.
Guys, you are listening to the Zombies Don't Podcast relaunch right here on zombiesdon'trun.net, part of the horrorphilia.com network of podcasting, also streaming and available for download on horrorphilia.com. But before we get into the show, I would like to direct you to tshirtbordello.com, where you can find some very awesome t-shirts, not just for horror, but for any genre. I'd also like to bring your attention to Shade Rupe's book, Dark Stars Rising, which is Conversations from the Outer Realms, available on shaderupe.com. Okay, welcome everybody to the relaunch of Zombies Don't Podcast. This would technically be the 6th show, but since the other two, ones wasn't really up to par, I figured I'd do a whole new format, get a new co-host and all that good stuff. So hopefully these work out a lot better, and I'm 99% positive they're going to work out a lot better than the other ones did. And of course, if you're going to do a show, the best way to do it is you got to have a co-host. So I went and got a man to be a co-host here that he really needs no introduction, but since you guys don't know him, I guess he does need to introduce himself. So go ahead there, Goob, and just tell him a little bit about yourself.
My name is Brandon Lane, come straight out of Tracy City, and known Chuck ever since high school. And who would have known that after so many years of being out of high school that we would have the same love of horror movies, and I'm glad that he hit me up to do this show.
And it ain't just with like horror movies. Like me and you, we was into wrestling and all that stuff.
Yeah, so definitely Hulk Hogan, the whole Nitro.
Yes, the old Monday Night War days, man. That was awesome back then. And a lot of people don't realize this, but from where we came from, man, up in Grundy, there's not like much of a horror community. There's like none. Yeah. And you got big cities like Chicago and stuff, and they have all these big conventions and stuff. We got to go out of our way if we go to a horror convention. We got to go all the way to Nashville, and it's basically, I guess, the same way with you as the whole horror thing for us just came from renting VHS tapes at the old video store.
Yeah, like you said, man, you have to plan to go to these horror conventions around here. It's like a trip to Disney World or something. It's like you have to plan 2 months ahead to make sure you got a bunch of friends to go up there and go to these conventions and stuff. But definitely, like, watching all these old VHS, that's probably the main reason why I like watching horror movies, is because of just the sentimental value of it. Like hearing, the theme songs of like Friday the 13th or something like that. That really draws me into watching these movies.
Yeah, and you've actually, like, I haven't really been to, but you've been to quite a few of the horror conventions, haven't you?
Yeah.
So could you, like, tell us just which actors has been, like, the nicest, and maybe which ones have been not so nice in your meetings with them?
Oh, well, I can tell you that right off the bat. The worst person that I've ever met that had the worst attitude is Chris Sarandon from Fright Night, and he did Jack Skellington's voice, Nightmare Before Christmas. He was just so, I don't know if he just didn't want to do the convention or what, but we went up to him, and I was so excited to meet him, and my wife, she went up to him, and she wanted to take a picture and get an autograph, and she's like, could you say, something of, like Jack Skellington? And he looked up at her, smiling, and he's like, he goes, do you own the movie? And
wow.
And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, when you go home, I want you to play it, and you can hear me talk like him.
Wow, what a dick, man.
Man, my wife did not want to take a picture with him. Like, we got his autograph still. If anybody wants it, hit me up, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, they say never meet your heroes because you'll just be disappointed. I guess that's a prime example of it. Oh, man. Yeah. And now which character was he in Fright Night? I'm bad with names. Was this Evil Ed?
He's the actual vampire, yeah.
Oh, the actual vampire.
Yeah, he's in Child's Play, the first one. He's like the detective, I guess, like the police guy.
Yeah, he had a cameo in the new Fright Night. If you've seen that one,
I did not know that.
Well, it's. Have you seen the new one?
I have not.
I wouldn't go out of my way to see it. It's just, it don't really seem like Fright Night. I'm sure you've probably heard people say that. It's you've got the same character with the same names, but Brewster, old Charlie there in the original, he was a likable guy, and he's he knows the neighbor's a vampire, and nobody believes him, right?
All right.
Okay, in this one, Charlie Brewster, man, he is a dick. He's a terrible character, man. And plus, I think McLovin plays Evil Ed this time around.
Oh, God.
And I had the same reaction when I heard that. But he's actually probably the best part of the movie because Colin Farrell as the vampire guy don't work for me.
Oh.
But now you said you've met a lot of them that are actually nice, right?
Oh God, yeah. One of the best that greeted me with a warm welcome is Ari Lehman, who played Jason Voorhees off the very first one. He's the kid, the little boy in the lake. He was so awesome. We talked about our favorite Jason characters. Of course he's Kane Hodder's always the main Jason that everybody likes, but CJ Graham, man, we met him. He's awesome. But probably the best celebrity that we've met, and when I say we, that's me and my wife. We like going to him too. Is Scout Taylor Compton from
yeah.
Man, she is so nice, and she just didn't make you feel like you had to be rushed. She talked to you, and you pretty much had to tell her when you was done talking because she just kept talking. She was really cool.
It's great when you meet somebody that's down to earth like that. And you said your wife did a picture for her, right? And she has the picture.
Man, my wife is obsessed with Scout Taylor Compton. She drew her a picture. She knew that she liked Little Mermaid, so she drew this Little Mermaid with Halloween essence type stuff with it. And man, not even a couple of weeks later, Scout put a picture on Twitter of her sitting beside her bed, and Amber's picture is in a frame beside her bed.
Wow. Now that has to feel great too, for somebody that you like that way, and you make them something and they actually, they keep it and stuff, because there's probably a lot of douchebags out there that get stuff from fans all the time and they just toss it aside like they don't care,
Yeah.
It's one example is you've seen concerts, just any kind of concert on TV, and there'll always be a bunch of people in the first row, and they've got tons of roses or something they want to give the singer, right? And you'll have the nice ones like Taylor Swift, who would take the rose and she'd keep it, right? But then you see these other people that when you hand them the roses or something, they'll just go and just hand it to, or toss it away or hand it to somebody else. Now that, to me, that'd make me feel awful, man, if I was at a show and I did that.
Yeah, that right there would definitely crush my soul, because I guess what people just don't think, they're famous and stuff, but I guess they don't realize that people's been waiting months, to meet these people, these famous people. And man, if I gave Taylor Swift something and she just gave it to her roadie, man, that'd crush my soul.
And since these people don't realize this, but you are a big Taylor Swift fan, and you actually have a Taylor Swift tattoo, am I correct?
I do have a Taylor Swift portrait on my chest. Yes.
Now that is a fan right there. I don't have any tattoos, but you've got some cool ones, and I've got a friend in Chicago named Shannon. She does all the stuff on the website. She's got 2 sleeves, and she's got a back tattoo going.
Oh, wow.
She would really appreciate those tattoos on your arm, man, because that's just, you got to be a real fan if you got something like that. And you've got Halloween and Friday the 13th, and pretty much what you was telling me is all your favorite movies are somewhat represented on your arms in some way or another, right?
Right. Yeah. It definitely goes back to, like I said, growing up with these movies. It's not necessarily that I think they're the best movies out there, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I just love that movie just because the music, the way it was filmed, it's just captured so good there, and that's always going to be in my mind. Thinking back whenever I was younger and having to stay up all night to watch it on HBO,
Yeah.
Tape it with a VHS.
Yeah, man. First time I ever seen Evil Dead was somebody taped it off of HBO or something. It's on this old VHS tape. I think I still got it here somewhere, and I mean, that's like really like when you come from up there, you really have to do stuff like that to see, these kind of movies because it's not really a place that really welcomes in horror movies because we got there's still the theater up there that shows one movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, it shows a movie.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I think one time they had 8 Mile there back in the day, but I don't know of many R-rated films being shown there.
Yeah, well, I do remember the very first movie that they showed there, which was quite crazy because the movie had already been out on DVD for 2 years. The very first movie they played at our theater, the Alma Mater in Tracy City, they showed Halloween H2O. And
wow.
Man, I was like, I've already got that on DVD. Why the hell would I want to go pay $5 to watch a theater?
Well, did they have like a film print of it? Did they get like film of it?
Yeah, like this actual real.
Well, where did they get that? I wonder. Especially, I mean, I guess at the time they were just like finding discount movies they could show. I guess.
Right. The last rated R movie that I watched, I went there on Halloween of 2000 and something, and I watched the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I can't believe they showed that there.
It freaked me out.
I've been moved from like up there for a while now, and I guess things have lightened up a little bit because back when I was there, I don't remember like them showing like the good stuff like that. But I would have went to seen the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I like that movie. I know a lot of people didn't care for it. I like that one.
Yeah, I liked it. Of course, like a lot of these remakes, I do like, but there's a fine line of me wanting to own it.
Yeah.
Going back to someone else that I do not like, and I'm not going to call this guy out because he could totally stomp my ass, but Andrew Bukowski, who played Leatherface in the remake, man, me and him was clashing so good. Like we was talking about Black Label Society and talking about Dimebag Darrell and just all this great stuff. And in my mind, I was like, if he likes Dimebag Darrell, surely God, he likes Phil Anselmo, which is the singer of Pantera. He left Pantera and, went to his other band, Down and stuff. And I showed him my Phil Anselmo tattoos, and, oh, man, he hit the roof. And, he's like, man, he goes, I wanted to fight Pepper Keenan in Miami, Florida, but he wouldn't fight me because he had sandals on. And, he's pretty much making allegations about Phil Anselmo, which I won't say on here in case someone does. No. Mm-hmm. But man, I took up for Phil. I don't give a shit if that dude is Latimer from the fucking program. I'm serious, man, because that's my idol. And I talk about him, so.
And everything was good to that point.
Yeah, man, and look, this is the best part. I told him, I was like, man, I don't know Phil Anselmo personally, but I'm not going to say anything bad about him just because you don't like him. And that's when the Latimer came out of him. This ain't no lie. He smacked the table, jumped up, and he goes, well, you need to put electrical tape or get that damn tattoo removed and get the fuck out of my face. And that ain't no joke, man. And he walked around the table, and like I was stunned at the time. For some reason, the only response I had was, can I take my picture with you? And like, when we was leaving, man, I got in the car and like this chill went over my body. I goes, Brandon, if he would have hit you once, you'd be dead. And I go, I know, let's get the hell out of here.
Well, did you get the picture?
No. But every time I see him like at a convention or something, man, like I just keep walking past him.
I'm sure he remembers you though.
If he don't, I don't know. Man, he charges outrageous too for an autograph.
Oh wow! Yeah,
you think that you're meeting down Vincent Price or something?
I've heard of people like that before because in wrestling, like a lot of people won't know who I'm talking about. Virgil.
Yeah,
he used to be if you ever run into him, man, do not talk to him because they say he'll run up to you. Now, he'll go up to you, and he'll be like, hey, what's your name? And then you'll tell him what your name is. Well, he jerks out a piece of paper. Oh. He writes, to whoever from Virgil, and then he goes, okay, man, that'd be $20. And they're like, what? He goes, I can't give this to nobody else, man. Come on, $20. And if you don't want to give him 20, then I think he'll just keep going down till you finally buy what he wrote. He forces an autograph off of you.
Start the conversation, $20. All right, man. 15 cents a pack of bubble gum.
And like I heard like Marty Jannetty of the Rockers tell that story, and apparently most of the times he gets the money. I mean, he may not get the full 20, but I think he gets close to it.
Right.
So I mean, if we ever make it big, that's our plan. That's our retirement fund right there. We'll just run up to people. Hey, what's your name? And then jot down in it and be like, well, I can't give it to nobody else.
I'll be like, oh yeah, here you go. I need at least $5. $5 autographs.
Be like, okay, well, if you ain't gonna give me $5, at least go buy me a $1 cheeseburger at McDonald's or something. But nonetheless, like I was saying though, today on the show we actually have a point here, guys. On the show today, we're going to talk about Basket Case 1, Basket Case 2, and we're going to talk about the stuff. So we're busting out like the old school stuff here today. I guess on that note, we'll take us a little quick break, and we'll be back with the movies.
A benefit silent auction and concert in memory of Teresia Dudziak will be held Friday, February 3rd at the VFW on Sparta Highway in McMinnville. Bands performing include Bury Me Memories and Steady Fall. And Dead Chain. And you see through my glass face. Is it two-faced? Would you like to demonstrate? $5 cover charge with donations to benefit Teresia Dudziak, who succumbed to cancer December 14th. The auction begins at 6. The concert at 7. Friday, February 3rd at the VFW in McMinnville.
And we are back here, and our first movie we are covering today is the 1982 Frank Hedenlotter, I hope I pronounced that right, I'm Southern, look over me, Basket Case. Now this film, of course, like I just said, came out in 1982. It's about two brothers that are joined together. One's a mutant. They share, they got that psychic connection going on. And basically your plot of the movie is they're hunting down the doctors that separated them, and they want to kill them. But Dwayne, which is the actual brother that's normal, falls in love, and of course the mutated one does not like that at all. Goob, I'll let you start off here. What do you think about this one?
Man, I really liked it. When the story, starts off, you really don't know what's going on, of course, at the beginning of the movie, but I like how the story, as it progresses, you find out bits and pieces, not all together. It kind of just combines together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I liked it. Bilal, the little side twin or whatever you want to call it, man, whenever he screams, it sounds so eerie. I could not imagine if I watched that whenever I was like 14 or 15. That'd probably give me nightmares.
Yeah, you should hear it in HD now. It's pretty creepy now.
I can't even do it. It sounds horrible.
It is, man. But yeah, I mean, my first when I first seen this movie, I actually, and I'll go more on this when we do part 2. But I saw 2 before I saw 1 because from where we're at, sometimes you don't see them in order. And and 1 was more to my age anyway, or 2 was more closer to my age anyway. So I seen the first one late in the game, and I remember, when I was a kid, it was freaky, man. And one thing I still love about it now is the whole movie just has like a dirty look to it. It's when this is like old days of video, so this is like a dirty look. The people, the characters are pretty, scumbaggy for the most part. Like we got the one guy at the hotel that the guy that wants to steal his money and everything. Yeah. And then you got like, I don't know, like the gore in it, because no CGI back then, and I like the gore, and I really, it's funny. It's like the movie, I don't know if it's really intended to be funny, but a lot of it is funny anyway. And I think like the only part of the film for me that slowed down at all was when they did their flashback scene in the bar. Mm-hmm. And, I thought that one kind of slowed down. Of course, maybe it isn't that way when you first watch it, but where I had seen it before, that kind of like dragged me because I already knew the backstory. But for you now, I believe this is your first time watching this, right?
Yes.
When they actually did the flashback stuff, was you still able to stay in with it, or did it ever lose you?
Yeah, I mean, I was still there, but I totally had to think about halfway through, right before the operation scene that happened. I was trying to think of what led up to that, because I kind of, I was still with it, but I didn't know how it got to that point, and I was like, oh yeah, he's at a bar drunk, so I'm guessing he's reminiscing of it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of loses you there a little bit, and it's he's drinking and whatever, and he's drunk, and I think that one seems pretty funny to where he actually confesses to the black chick what's in the basket, because it's like the $1,000,000 question throughout the movie, what's in the basket, and nobody believed. Of course, nobody would, but one of my favorite scenes of this is, the part when he takes off. I think he goes to hang out with the girl. I can't think of her name, but he goes to hang out with the girl he meets. He meets her in a doctor's office, of course. Mm-hmm. And he falls in love with her. Now, that's where the problem first comes between the brothers because the other one doesn't like it. And when he realizes what's going on, when he leaves him in that hotel room, and he goes off crazy. He starts destroying the hotel room. I just think that's just hilarious, man. And, I mean, it's not just, a little bitty fit. This man loses his shit here. He starts throwing, drawers and the TV. He gives him the TV.
And he does that crazy scream thing that I'm talking about. Yeah. And it's the whole time. But like to talk on that, I'm glad you brought that up. Is they totally used if you haven't seen the movie, they totally used Pee Wee Herman stop motion. I'm guessing make him move. It's very weird seeing because the contrast changes. You can tell that they use that, but then again it's the time that was very probably high tech for the time when it came out, but I think they could have avoided it a little bit, maybe from a point of view of someone trashing the room at a low angle or something.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done it another way. It'd probably been, a little less cheesy looking. It'd probably been a lot cheaper on them, too, than actually doing the stop motion because, stop motion would come into play later on in the 80s in a much better way. Evil Dead 2 uses stop motion, and I think it's done a lot better there than it is here. But, what did you actually think of, the look of Belial there? Did you think he looked pretty cool?
I thought he looked all right, but there's a lot of different scenes where I did like him and didn't like him. Whenever he wasn't moving and stuff, and it was just, he was just being carried. I don't know. There's something off about it that just kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, I mean, there's some scenes where you can tell that he's carrying just some big plastic thing, and if you think it looks pretty fake in some parts of this, watch it in HD.
Oh no.
I mean, there's, you hear him say some movies aren't, they just aren't meant for Blu-ray, and I'll believe it after seeing this one, because he looks pretty rough, and not necessarily rough, he just looks real fake when you get the full contrast going on. Right. And I can't remember, does his eyes light up in part one?
It does on some scenes. It's very seldom. I know it don't do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, we'll spoil this a little bit because, I imagine most people that's listening to this have seen it. If not, then, hey, hit the fast-forward button for a little bit here. But what did you think at the ending sequence there, when he goes and he's got the chick in the bed and all that stuff? What did you think of all that?
That whole scene kind of startled me because I didn't really know what was going on. I was like, man, is he doing what I think he's doing to her?
I think that's what he was doing. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, yeah. And you know what? We're going to talk about this later, but, the man doesn't have testicles. Mm-mm. And he doesn't, I don't know where he would be, hiding his wing, unless he's like a dog or something. He comes out.
Whenever the wang comes in there, and, he's kind of, Belial's kind of moving, Do you know, whenever he picked him up, there was, blood there. So,
yeah.
He was tearing it up. I don't know what he had, but he was tearing it up.
It must come from somewhere, and when it pops out, it must be a doozy. We must be talking like Ron Jeremy style. Here. Maybe more. This may be John Holmes, according to her. That's a lot of blood.
It might be the Belial on a stick. Stick with his dick.
I tell you what, though, if I was like that, and if I was Belial, I think I would be hopping around like a pogo stick, all day long. I'd be proud of that thing. I don't know where he's hiding it at.
Bigger basket.
Oh yes, more, and there's not like it's good that he's got that going for him because he definitely don't have his looks going for him, and of course all he eats is hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff. And I don't know, but those hamburgers, man, they look pretty nasty to me.
They did.
That's probably what the cast had to eat.
Oh man,
that's because we're dealing with low budget films here, and of course, at the very end of this film. And we're going to have to spoil it anyway because it goes on into the next one. They look pretty. Spoiler alert. They look pretty dead to me.
Yeah. Well, whenever I saw it and the credits started rolling up, I told my wife, I was like, "Man, this reminds me so much of King Kong." I mean, King Kong. I mean, it's exactly the same. I liked it, but then again, I thought it lacked. I wish there was something a little bit more to it. I don't know if they had intent making a part 2 after making this first one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of them both dying. I thought that would seal the deal, and they could make something else of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. I think some horror films definitely do not need sequels. You know, Black Christmas never had a sequel. Nobody complained about that. And this, I liked it. Like, as far as the ending, like, you know, this, if that's the way you're going to end things, that's a great way to end it. And he made it definitely in a way that showed you he didn't plan on making another one.
Right.
But I guess money came into play, and I guess if you offer enough of it, you know, they'll make a sequel like, what's that movie, Crank? It's got Jason Statham. I mean, he was dead the first one, too. And then he pops back up in the second one. But now, like I said, we're going to do this sort of like most you know, podcasts do stuff, and we're going to give it a little score here just to kind of let you know where we're at on it. So Goob, what would you give this one on the 1 to 10 scale?
From 1 to 10, I'll give it a 7. Like I said, I really did like it, but I'm just going to take off just a little bit because I didn't have like a fear essence. There was nothing that I was going to be afraid of. A lot of the death scenes was good, but I wish that it wouldn't cut away. But like I said, it goes back to money probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I like seeing the death scenes. I like having that engraved in my mind, and I have to think about it all day. So 7 out of 10. I mean, I would definitely recommend someone watching it.
Yeah, I think a movie like this could have benefited greatly if you had Tom Savini working on the gore.
Oh, definitely.
Because that's the master in my mind when it comes to the 80s gore and the horror and all that stuff. Yeah. And I'm right with you. Like, honest to God, I gave it exactly what you did, a 7 out of 10 for like the same reasons. It's fun for what it is. There's really nothing scary about it, and it's got some moments, you know, like when it comes to like Belial, you know, basically raping the chick in this movie. It's just, that's out of left field. It doesn't really make much sense. I mean, it's like we were talking about. Where's the wang? Yeah. You know? So if it had something that looked like a wang somewhere in the film, it'd made more sense. But nonetheless,
the basket. Oh, it's his dick.
Maybe there's some metaphor here we're missing.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, of course, that's what we both gave it a 7, and that's Basket Case number 1. Now, on to this next movie was 1990. It was Basket Case 2. Now, Basket Case 2 has the exact same director. Made, what was it, 8 years after the first one, yet we're supposed to believe that this is taking place moments after the first one.
Right.
And I guess you picked up a little bit on the age difference between, like, Dwayne there.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, the plot of this one is, it's pretty simple. You know, they get rescued from the hospital by this woman, and she's kind of got this house full of these freaks, and she's got, like, I don't know if it's more of a daughter or what she is, but Dwayne, once again, takes a liking to this chick, apparently forgetting all about the one that just died, like, the night before. And, of course, this time, though, Belial has his own little love interest. So did you like this one better or worse, or how was you feeling about this one?
Man, I absolutely loved this one. As soon as it started off, with the credits and everything, the music reminded me a lot of, like if I was watching Friday the 13th Part 3. It had that real, I don't want to say 80s-esque, like, soundtrack, but God, man, as soon as I heard that music, I was like, oh man, this is it. This is what I'm liking, because a good soundtrack definitely goes a long way with me, especially if it's got something of the 80s-esque. I'm real piggy about that, but man, I really liked it. The story was easy to follow. I love the extra characters that they added in there, and man, I mean, it was really awesome. I mean, I really liked it.
Yeah, and I saw this one when I was a kid because this is like 1990, and I was born in 83, so I was really, you know, at this point I'd been, you know, there with all the Jasons and the Freddys and the Michael Myerses, and my aunt rented this, and I watched it, and I was pretty, you know, shocked by it at the time. Of course, I've seen this before I ever saw the first one, and, like, one thing that I loved about this movie is just all them weird little creatures there, like the people, because there's, like, this house is full of deformed people, and I think the one character that really blew me away, I thought he was hilarious, was, you know, the frog guy?
Yeah, out the yeah.
Yes. There's the frog guy, and there's, I don't know, I mean, there's some of these characters you just have to really see them for it to really give it justice. But the only thing that it really like shocked me is like Dwayne. He's not really a bad character. He's a good guy, but he kind of has like his brother's got the control over him in the first one, and since Belial kind of meets his own little mutated woman in this one, then he's kind of more free to do what he wants to do, and he falls in love with this other girl. And the only thing was, it just seemed kind of weird to me. Of course, it should not seem weird to me because in this time period, like in hero movies, action movies, the star would go from one woman to the next, and they could care less about the other chick. But he doesn't even mention, I don't think, the girl that dies in the first one, does he?
No.
No, I mean, it's just straight on. He falls in love with this one, and I don't really know how long he stays hidden in the house there. Of course, they've got the press, not really the police, but the press are after him. A real nosy press lady and her little stooge there, but I don't know. It's like, to me, it just seemed like it was overall a lot more fun than the first one was for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about Belial and his wang. What about the full-fledged sex scene we have this time? I mean, with him and the other mutated woman, there's no question what's going on now.
Yeah, it was definitely humorous to me again.
Yeah.
But to talk about Belial in that, a lot of the scenes, there's one scene where they zoom up on Belial whenever Dwayne's talking to him about wanting to leave and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I think I love her and stuff," and then Belial, he starts laughing. And I don't know, did you notice that? I'm thinking that was Dwayne in Belial, like as the effect, the actor who plays Dwayne.
Oh yeah, I think where they're like supposed to be twins.
Yeah,
I think they used his face as the mold for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's.
And you don't really notice it to part two, because part one you couldn't really see that. I guess they didn't use it in part one, but now part two. And you notice at different times in this one they use different modes for Belial too.
Yeah.
So the budget had went up this time around.
The effects was really good. The scarring on Dwayne's side, I really liked that. It looked a lot like Freddy Krueger-esque to me.
It did.
It looked real good scar, and I liked it. But one thing I really liked about this movie is even if you ain't seen Basket Case 1, there's no worries because they tell you everything at the beginning in a very good way, I think. Of course, like on Friday the 13th, I won't say it's part 7, maybe part 6. I can't remember, but they show like a montage of like Jason, just killing everybody, and he's like, "Oh, he's still out there," and stuff. Well, this one, I liked it because, they used the most common thing to tell the story. A news press,
Exactly.
Showed that screen, and it told you everything you needed to know about the movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's, a lot of times so much time wasted, and if you're a hardcore fan of the stuff, you already know what happened. And especially, like, if you watch them back-to-back. You don't want to spend a lot of time seeing what you've already watched. I don't know, and, plus, it's so smart that they did it that way, because this movie came out a full 8 years, after the first one, so a lot of people may have at the time forgot what had happened, but they do it in a way that it doesn't waste time, it just gets to the point. But I think my favorite part of this, and the part that I even remembered when I was a kid, man, this is like what stood out to me, and I won't go all the way and spoil it for everybody, but at the very end there, when Dwayne, it's all going well, everybody's so happy, and he's got the girl, and she feels the same way, and then he gets that real big surprise there at the end. Now, did that catch you off guard? Because that was a pretty big trip for me.
Yeah, not so much like what happened did, as much as what she said that had been going on for 6 years.
Yes, 6 years. And I actually have a clip of that I think I'll insert right here, and I believe it actually says what it is. So we'll just go, I mean, why not? Go ahead, spoiler alert. She's been pregnant for 6 years. So, how they didn't really explain what's going on. I mean, so basically she's a freak like the rest of them, right?
Well, this is what I was thinking the whole time I was watching the movie. Like, I always make assumptions when I'm watching movies. I don't know why I do it. But whenever the movie started going and Dwayne got better and, he said he was wanting to leave and stuff, he decides to stay. And Susan, the girl that we're talking about here, I thought that she had a conjoined twin like he did. Like Dwayne did. And I thought... Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, I thought that was like the one that Belial was messing with. I thought that would be like her twin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the whole time. But Lord help us.
I know, and it's like, okay, so he's pregnant for 6 years. The thing seemingly can just come and go whenever it wants to, right?
Right.
I mean, so are we to believe that the thing just lives there and just comes out like? I mean, you never even get a hint at that. I don't think during the whole movie.
Mm.
And then, of course, the ending of it. Then there's got to be a third one after that.
Yeah.
And of course, there is one, but unfortunately, it's hard to get, and it doesn't come out till later this year when Synapse is supposed to put it out. And I hope I get a copy real early when they send those out, because I definitely want to see what happens next.
I hope I get a copy real early. Now, you hear this?
Yeah, hint, hint, wink, wink. They're pretty much like a sponsor here to us. So, if you're listening, I want to be like one of the first ones that gets that. So the score on this one, is it better? Is it worse? How you feel about it?
Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I liked it a real lot. If that's even English, I liked it a real lot. Yeah, man, I mean, it caught my attention right off the bat. I didn't want to take my eyes off of it, so... Well, like I said, it had the 80s-esque music, and that goes a long way with me, man, in a lot of movies. Not to stray away from this topic, but, it's like Dario Argento when he gets Goblin to play.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, that adds so much to the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like with this movie here, the 90s, early 90s, they had some bad movies in the early 90s. And I bet this one was probably like made in 89. That's probably why it still has that 80s feel to it. And yeah, but this is I thought it was a lot better than I remembered it being, because when I was a kid, I just remembered like a few things about it, but this really blew me away. I liked it a lot better than I thought I did. And when it comes to the director here, he made a couple more films, and you may not believe this, but he's got like a movie called Brain Damage, and he's got one called Frankenhooker, and it's so hard to say which ones are best, out of all three of them, because they're all really great. And I would probably put this up there with them. I think I'd go 8, which is still really, really good, especially when you're thinking of horror movies from 1990.
Yeah, like if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I got Basket Case 1 and Basket Case 2. Which one would you like the most?" I'll be like, man, definitely watch them both. But if you're wanting to get straight to the point. Yeah, I'll definitely go with just part 2.
Yeah. Yeah, two's like, I think it was probably, from what I remember reading, I don't know if he actually even wanted to make 2 or not, but they gave him the money and he made it, and I think he should be proud of it, because I'm like you, I'd rather watch it than the first one. Okay, now our third and final actual movie we're going to discuss today is a 1985 movie by Larry Cohen, who you might remember from God Told Me To, and he actually wrote Maniac Cop, and this is called The Stuff.
Are you eating it, or is it eating you?
But I mean, it's so ridiculous that this is 85, and it's definitely 1985. It's got 80s written all over it, and just to quickly sum it up to people, is like at the beginning of the movie, they find this stuff coming out of the ground. There's the stuff. They find the stuff. It's coming out of the ground, and for some reason, the old dude decides he's going to taste it. And apparently it tastes really good. So the next thing you know, we've shot ahead, and the stuff is like this $1 million corporation thing, and it's killing ice cream, and ice cream wants it stopped, so they hired a detective named David Moe Rutherford. They call him Moe because he always wants Moe. Ain't that his line in the movie?
That is it. Every time he sees money, he wants Moe.
Yeah, and it's a fun movie, and the character, it takes a little bit to get used to that Moe guy, because he's an odd actor. It's an odd portrayal of the character, but it works in this environment. But I don't know how you feel about this one, Goop, but to me, like the overall feel of the movie, there's something about it that sort of kind of reminded me of Halloween 3 in a way.
Yeah, it's I was confused a lot in it. I thought that I could be wrong, but I think they added the movie wrong or something. It was real weird because they showed scenes of the boy. He sees the stuff move, and automatically he thinks in his mind, "Hell, this is bad for people," and he goes on a damn killing spree in the damn mall. Killing the stuff, knocking it over for everything else. And man, listen, if I went into Piggly Wiggly and knocked over one thing of cans, Jake Anderson would come over and whip my ass.
Yeah, but they would be dragging your ass out of there quick.
Like, I don't understand why they just let him keep doing it. I mean, he just went ape shit in the story. But, I mean, like, after that, you don't see the boy for a long time. And, I like, the whole time I was like, is that the only scene? You know, they just put that one scene in there, that boy, and then that's it, because they went to Mo.
Yeah.
Time. It was like, I may be wrong, but I bet you it was at least almost 20 minutes of just Mo, you know, like going, saying that he's this, saying that he's that.
And Mo getting his Mac on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you, because it's like, at the beginning of the movie, you know, they're finding this stuff, it's coming out of the ground. And then next thing you know, this stuff is like worldwide. Right. And then Mo shows up, and the boy sees the stuff, and then Mo goes and he meets the woman that's helping promote the stuff. Next thing you know, she's quit apparently, and now she's helping Mo. You know, and it's just so, it seems like they cut out a lot of stuff because it just bounces around, and I really like the movie. You know, for the most part, I love the effects. I thought the effects is probably the best part of the movie, like when Chocolate Chip Charlie has his moment.
Oh yeah, that's I'm glad you started talking about that. That's one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about is the effects of it. They're really good. I liked it a whole lot, but man, I wish that they would shorten down the story and got straight to that. It'd been more pleasing.
Yeah,
it's just real hard for me to be scared of the stuff. I wish they would have made people like, you know, whoever ate the stuff, like like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I wish they would have done something like that. You know, I wish they would have made, you know, of course it did take over people, but, I mean, hell, all they wanted to do is just keep eating it, and then it pretty much kills them. I'd rather them eat it and it turn them into, you know, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and, you know, that's who you had to fight. Because, man, that would open up so many more doors of, you know, death scenes and stuff. But, I mean, it was hard for me to get into it a lot, but, I mean, I'm definitely with you on the effects. They was really good. I just wish they had more of it.
And, you know, when you really break it down, it's kind of a hard story to follow, because, okay, so if you've tried the stuff, you're all right, because you got to eat a certain amount of it for it to have any effect on you. They don't really tell you how much of it you got to eat before it has an effect on you, but, okay, basically when you eat it, all it does is it kills you eventually. That's it. But still, there's enough of the stuff in people to make you stop trying to stop it. You know, it's a little complicated, and I think somewhere along the way there's some elements of the plot that gets lost somewhere.
Man, exactly. Like another scene that I swear I was like, why in the hell did they even put this in the movie? It don't make no sense. There's a scene Mo pulls up at a gas station. Gas attendant comes out. Mo looks up and sees a car. It's like a slug bug, I think, if I can remember correctly. Out of that whole town, he thinks that car is the suspicious thing there. And he goes over to see that car, and then the gas attendant runs in the woods, and that's it.
Exactly.
He don't come back, you don't hear nothing else of him, and then old Chocolate Chip Charlie jumps out like a fucking ninja, gets his ass whooped. It's like, oh, it's you! Oh, yeah.
I mean, did we ever really figure out why they're all going to that town?
Man, I do not know. Before we did this, I was going over everything, and like in my mind, I was trying to think that there's like, oh, they're in what was it, Middletown? Oh, you might.
I don't remember the name of it.
Georgia. It was somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah, and they're there, and they're acting suspicious, and they're just fine. I mean, they're living there and they're okay. And then all of a sudden, like, one of them blows up, you know, like the stuff comes out of him or whatever. And I don't understand, like, why are these people okay? And then all of a sudden, here comes the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There's just some parts about it I don't really understand. I liked it for the most part, but I still wish that they had explained some stuff a little bit better to us.
Yeah. Another scene, like, while we're talking about it, it's on my mind. Whenever Mo goes and sees the guy's the head of the Food and Drug Administration, and the guy's got a dog. And the whole time, dude is terrified of that dog.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why he was terrified of that dog, but there's a scene, Mo leaves, and the movie goes on, and then it cuts back, and that dog is attacking his owner for some reason. I don't know if he's just stir crazy or what, but he just goes ape shit.
And it's like about that scene. Like the only thing I remember really being said is I heard the old man yell, "I'll get more, I'll get more." Okay, so isn't it in the dog's best interest if he's understanding what he's saying to let him live so he can go buy some more of the stuff? Because I don't think the dog's going to walk into the supermarket, bust out the wallet, and buy it himself.
Well, the dog could have been pissed off at that Mo joke. Oh, if I got money, I want Mo. The dude probably thought that he was telling a joke, and the dog's like, I'm tired of this damn Mo joke. Take you down.
They sure do run we hear the Mo joke, what, 3 or 4 times?
Oh, God.
Yeah, man.
I don't want no Mo.
And, of course, then, then all of a sudden the story takes a twist where the army's apparently just out, camping out, hanging out in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. The military, he's like, oh, I know him, I'll call in a favor. So they go and they bring in the military. And then the thing it just goes quick. Like, okay, here they are, here's the military. They're shutting down the stuff, blah, blah, blah. And pretty soon, like, you reach a resolution to the film, and it's like we've said, there's like, you feel like part of the movie's gone. Mm. And they're just fast-forwarding through stuff, which, I don't know. And then, of course, at the end, you get the end that you get, which, I don't know. How did you feel about the ending?
It was all right. I mean, I didn't really feel like justice was being served to them. I mean, it was a good little twist. I think their mindset was right, but I guess it just goes back to, actually making the movie, like laying out everything. I've never made a movie, but I mean, I wish they had told the story a whole lot better. But the ending, I kind of like it. They was trying to make that little boy seem like he grew up 20 years, in mindset. He's like, oh, I've seen a lot of stuff. Yeah. What have you seen? Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? If anything, you could have a lot of fun with this movie if you just, like, make a drinking game out of it. Take a shot every time they say the word stuff, and you might get pretty tipsy if you take a shot every time they make a Mo joke, too.
Oh. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that is a good idea.
The drinking game. That's one for the stuff. Yeah. So what do you give the stuff here on the rating scale here?
The rating scale, I gave it a 4 out of 10. Just because I wouldn't think that your normal horror watcher would really get into it. There's no blood that I don't ever see any blood. But the effects are so good. I wouldn't recommend it to any of my friends. I mean, that's just me. But I mean, it's definitely worth YouTubing. Like if someone put up the scenes, like the death scene and stuff, because the effects are really cool. But
yeah, I think all the cool scenes. I believe all the cool scenes are on YouTube. If anybody just wants to see that, go check out Chocolate Chip Charlie when he meets his demise there. That's pretty funny. But when I seen this, I think I seen it about 3 in the morning, and I seen it after watching a bunch of bad movies. So you add that into the effects that into account that I like the effects, and I'm going a little bit higher than you here on it. I went ahead and when I did the review, I gave it a 7. Cool. So I give it a 7 because I like the campy feel of it, and I don't know, like I said, just something about it kind of. I don't know. I guess it's where you got people running around trying to stop this thing from happening. It kind of gave me a little bit of Halloween 3 vibes, because it ain't on the level of Tom Atkins in Halloween 3, but it's interesting. So I'd do that. I'd say if you're bored on a Saturday night and it's 3:00 in the morning and you don't want to go to sleep, pop it in. But you're probably going to be bored in between the effects, maybe, if you don't just dig the whole aspect of it.
You'll definitely get a good chuckle. You'll laugh at a lot of parts because I don't know if I was laughing because the part was so cheesy or if I was laughing because I was so confused that my brain's like, what the fuck are you watching? I was really confused a lot of it, and I think that I like just run and gun and slash, and I like watching those type of films. But definitely for this movie, I mean for cheesy aspect, if you want that, definitely watch it. But
it's got one of those midnight movie vibes all over it. It's just. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a term for 80s cheese. I guess this would be the cheese right here.
Yeah, this right here is the Pimento cheese.
Yeah, I believe you. That's a proper examination of it. There, it's the pimento cheese.
Yeah. But definitely check out the cover. The front cover of this DVD that Chuck let me borrow. It's really creepy.
Yeah, I mean that's why I even got it, because I would search for stuff on Amazon. I search for movies, and they always pop up when they'll say, "Oh, you may like this," and I kept seeing the stuff, and I was cheap. Like I bought them old '80s movies, House 1, House 2, and it was like if you buy House 1, House 2, and the stuff, you get it for like this one cheap deal. I was like, oh, why not?
Yeah.
So that's how I came into it. It's got a good cover.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, I guess we will take us another quick break, and then we're going to be back with the wrap-up. But before we wrap up, I think we're going to touch a little bit on some news about the Evil Dead remake. So we'll be right back with you.
A benefit silent auction and concert in memory of Teresia Dudziak will be held Friday, February 3rd at the VFW on Sparta Highway in McMinnville. Bands performing include Bury Me Memories and Steady Fall. And Dead Chain.
And you see through my glass face. Is it two-faced? Would you like to demonstrate?
$5 cover charge with donations to benefit Teresia Dudziak, who succumbed to cancer December 14th. The auction begins at 6. The concert at 7. Friday, February 3rd at the VFW in McMinnville.
And we are back here on Zombies Don't Podcast, a relaunch. Chuck Conry and Goob has been with you now for the last hour or so. And before we call it a day for this relaunch episode here, we want to talk a little bit about some news about the Evil Dead remake. As everybody knows, the remake in Evil Dead, and of course the chick that was cast to be the lead, Lily Collins, who is from The Blind Side, has quit. And that's the news on that. But I was going to ask Goob, did you actually hear about the plot for the new remake, or do I need to fill you in on that?
No, you probably need to fill me in on it. Like I said, before we was talking on this, I always heard that they was going to do one, but it seemed like it kind of dropped off to me. I guess I just kind of stopped searching on it because, there's so many rumors. Like I said, I heard Ashton Kutcher was going to play Bruce Campbell, Ash. But, yeah, definitely explain it for me, please.
Well, of course, like you, at first everybody said, oh, Ashton Kutcher's going to play Ash. And then they was like, oh, wait, there's not going to be a remake. They're going to just go ahead and do Evil Dead 4. And that had everybody happy until Bruce Campbell, peed on everybody's parade and said there wasn't going to be one. And then now they decide they're going to reboot it. But they've decided now, and I don't know if I guess you haven't heard this part, they know now that you can't recast Ash. That's not going to happen. So Ash, the whole character of Ash, is non-existent in the remake. There's no Ash.
Oh.
There's a group of kids, teenagers, and there's a brother and a sister, and the sister is strung out on dope. She's got personal demons. So a group of friends are taking her, and they're going to the cabin in the woods to get away and to help clear her mind and to just get her back on the right track. When they get to this cabin, she finds the book, she accidentally sets the demons loose, and the Deadites, as we know them, and before we actually figure out in the movie then if it's real or not, they think maybe she's just having some withdrawals and tripping out. So how does this plot make you feel here, Goob?
Who's directing it?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Sam Raimi. I think it's going to be somebody else.
God, it's probably going to be Michael Bay.
Oh, Lord.
There's going to be so many damn explosions in it.
Him, or maybe I'm surprised J.J. Abrams ain't in on this since he's on everything. But it's like it kills me is when you make a remake, you want to stay close to the original. It's really a two-sided sword, which really shows why you shouldn't be remaking everything, because people are going to get mad if it's not enough like the original, but then people are going to somewhat throw off on it if it's too much like the original, and it's really kind of hard to find that medium. And when you take Evil Dead and you take the character of Ash out of it, I mean, I don't know what would be worse. I don't know if it'd be worse to try to recast Ash, or if it's going to be worse to have an Evil Dead movie where the character is non-existent, because, I mean, that's Evil Dead,
Right.
And the first Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead was really, really freaky. Now, that was a horror film. I was freaked out by that one as a kid, and it took more of a comedic turn later. And they say this one's going to be more on the serious note, but I don't know with all the teeny bopper cast and all that stuff if it's going to just be anything I can really get behind.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you that I will be non-like. They probably made or whatever, but I mean, with remakes, it's like you said, perfect. It's going to be hit or miss. I wish that they would just get ideas and make horror movies like they did back in the day. Jesus Christ, I mean, CGI, we don't need it. Jesus, you know, Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, they're all proof positive that you do not need CGI.
No.
Those are some of the best, you know, horror movies to watch. But just talking about Evil Dead, I guess, you know, they're thinking, well, a male lead in this movie, you know, this is Hollywood, like, you know, problem.
Yeah.
They're saying, well, a male wouldn't, you know, want to see this, so we're gonna cast a heroine, and she's gonna be, you know, the strong woman. That way we can get the guys to come see the chick, and we're gonna get the girls to come to see woman power. You know.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's kind of frustrating because it's such a great movie. Evil Dead is probably, if not, one of the greatest horror. I don't know anything that can top it.
It's in my top 10 for sure. It'd be my top 5 or top 3, you know, Evil Dead 1. And I tell you, you got people out there and they're like, well, you know, The Thing, and I don't know if you like The Thing. I love The Thing, the old Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
And it was a remake, yes, but it was a remake of a movie that came out in the golden age that, you know, you really could improve on. And, you know, if a movie is awful, I can see why you might want to go back and try again on it. But when you get something right the first time, and I think Evil Dead's a prime example of getting something right the first time, why bother?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't think they can make it any better than it was already made. And it's not like it's a film that just looks so out of date that nobody can enjoy it. Because I think the old nature of the film, is, especially today, is what makes it stand out and still makes it as good today as it was, you know, when it came out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like with Evil Dead, like every time I even hear the words Evil Dead, I constantly think about, you know, goes back to the sentimental values. You know, going to the video store and renting it, and, you know, bringing it home, and just the whole anticipation of having to sit through the, you know, the previews, and not knowing, you know, what's going to be in this movie. You know, I think that's gone just with, you know, of course, technology, about how, you know, kids are, you know, they're worried about more grown-up stuff than hell I am.
You know, it's like, I guess we're going to come across sounding really old here, but the whole art of watching a film is lost.
Yes.
Because you know, when and DVD was a big upgrade for us, you know, at the time. It's like, wow, these are DVDs. You don't have to rewind them. You know, the VCR can't eat the tape in a DVD. But when you would go and you'd get the old VCR tape, and you would have to sit through the previews, and you'd see the old film. Sometimes they didn't look very good, but that added to the overall effect, because sometimes if things aren't perfectly clear, it's beneficial to the movie. And these days, you know, the kids, they get the movies, they skip through the ads, they don't watch the trailers, they don't, you know, they got everything in perfect, clear picture, and instead of the real effects like we grew up with, they've got CGI, computer blood, and there's nothing I hate more than CGI blood, you know, and it's just, I don't know where everybody went wrong here with it. And I know the companies will say that it's cheaper and it's better to make a film with CGI than it is for natural effects, but I think it's probably, I can't see where sitting for hours in front of a computer and adding blood would be cheaper than having somebody blow up like a balloon with blood in it.
Yeah. I mean, like the real effects, I don't care if fucking Bill Gates came in to make a computer program specifically for blood running. A natural blood run is a whole lot more creepier to me than just seeing, you know, a computerized splatter or whatever. Man, like going back the beginning of Cat in the Brain.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like, I literally have to make sure I'm not eating when I see the first of it.
Yeah, and you know, it's like Fulci. People used to get on to Fulci because they said his effects look kind of fake at times. But I would rather have a bad natural effect that, you know, at least that way you still got the campy feel to it, than just having a computer. Like I've seen some CGI so bad in movies that it looks like a cartoon.
Yeah,
and that's just awful. I'd rather 10 times have that. I know we're getting a little bit sidetracked here, but the point is, when it comes to this, is they're going to make it. there's nothing we can do about it. But I just don't think it's going to be that great. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think if there's a whole generation of kids that grow up and their idea of Evil Dead is this remake, I think it's going to just be a shame.
Yeah, well, like with the whole remake aspect of this Evil Dead, you're gonna, as bad as I hate to say it, but you're gonna have to put it within all the Evil Deads, you know? I mean, like, whenever you talk to somebody, you know, about Evil Dead, shit, they're not gonna know what you're talking about unless you clarify. Like we was talking that one day, I was like, I'm watching the original Black Christmas. Why in the hell do I have to say I'm watching the original Black Christmas? Well, because Hollywood wants that little extra dollar, and they're going to try to top on something that, you know, that has a cult following. And
do you know, though, there's a whole group of people, though, that don't realize that ain't the original Black Christmas. They think that's Black Christmas. They don't realize that there was the one, you know, that came out that was good.
Yeah, Bob Clark,
yeah. I don't know, man. You know, it's something that's just going to happen. I mean, and plus, I don't know now, but when you get like a box, I know they're going to be coming out with box sets and stuff, and they start including the remakes in there with the originals. Ain't that going to just stick out like a sore thumb?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I there's like, I don't know what the word is in my voice. I guess upset. Is, I mean, it's like with every remake. I mean, there is good ones. There's good ones out there that I do like. But with coming back to Evil Dead, I mean, why do something that was done right the first time? Exactly like you said, man. I mean, it feels like it's gonna take away from all the other Evil Deads. For me, that's because I think about it. I have to think, oh yeah, there's a damn remake of it that sucks cock. And I have to watch it.
And, you know, there'll be people say, oh, you've always got the original. Yeah, but now we've got, like, some crap tied on to it. You know, it's like, you drag something through the mud, it's going to have dirt on it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happens when you do a remake. Now, sometimes you come out a little bit better than you thought. Like, I didn't hate the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, and that's probably, like, the one remake that I might say I like better than the original.
Yeah, they on that one, they definitely did good. They stuck with the original, but they went more into the story, because in the original, yeah, we're totally off Evil Dead right now.
That's sidetracked. We just went on into remakes in general here.
I mean, in The Hills Have Eyes, it never shows the guy going in there and how he gets the baby. You know, at the very end, it shows him get the baby. That's it.
Exactly.
And then, you know, in the remake, it went more in depth, and there was definitely that anticipation factor. You was anticipating him to get caught, and I definitely like that about that. The I Spill Your Grave remake. I thought they did justice with it. I'm not gonna say it's better than the original, but there is definitely some hardcore scenes in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, like I said, sometimes you get good ones, but at the same time, you know, you wonder why couldn't they just make something new, you know? But it is what it is, and wheeling it back into Evil Dead here, I know there's like a lot of people out there. It's like, oh man, I can't wait. 2012 is the Evil Dead remake, which I don't know if it's coming out this year, if it's going to be next year, probably next year, I guess, but I'm not that excited about it, and I think from talking to you, you agree with me that it's not something that's going to the top of your list for stuff you want to see, right?
Right. Like, I mean, yeah, there's probably new horror fans out now. I know now the flavor of the month is the whole is it real? The documentary sense. I'm pretty sure there's probably fans of that. I love Cannibal Holocaust. I love it to death. But I mean, it's already been done. I mean, I don't know why that they keep trying to go on like Paranormal Activity, The Devil's Side. I mean,
well, you know, they take something that's unique and they just make it routine, you know, and they drive it in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know. I kind of get like when people get so shocked whenever they're talking about like a new horror movie or something to me, and they're like, "Oh my God, did you go see, you know, la da da da?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh, I thought you liked horror movies," and I go, Exactly. I like horror movies. I like them 1970s horror, 80s.
It'd be like, I like good horror movies, and it's like, real quickly on that, it's, Cannibal Holocaust, as far as I know, is the first movie that ever, like, had the found footage aspect to it. And then, while it wasn't necessarily the next one that garnered the attention of everybody was the Blair Witch Project, because they played that one off so well that they made people think it was real. I mean, the actors even used their real names, and then, of course, that kind of died off, and then you got Cloverfield, and then you got Paranormal Activity, which, again, they fooled people at first into thinking that was real, and then since that was as big as it was, is every month now, you've got, like, 1 or 2 found footage films coming out, either straight to video or to theaters, and it's just, it kills it, man. I mean, you go from something that's different and fun, and then they just completely drive it in the ground, and maybe in the 80s, I don't know, like, we can look back now at slasher films from the 80s, and we love them because I guess we were too little or whatever to really be there when it was happening. But I wonder if in the 80s, when like Halloween come out, in 78 or 79, and it did so well, and then all of a sudden here comes Friday the 13th, and then here comes The Burning, and it's Silent Night, Deadly Night, and all of these movies. I wonder if people back then were like us now when it comes to the found footage films.
It's definitely hard to say. Talking about, the 70s, you talking about, Halloween. Another one to talk on the topic of people thinking it was real is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Everybody thought that there was a family in Texas killing people.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that. And, of course, if people that does not know on this podcast, which I'm pretty sure you do, it's based off Ed Gein up in Wisconsin. I think the story goes, Toby Hooper was standing in line, in a store, and he saw a chainsaw, and he thought about taking that chainsaw and just mowing people down. And that's, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I love it too, but the remake, that was the hook for people, because it said based on true events on the preview, and when they released the DVD, it come with the pictures, the crime scene photos and stuff. No. No.
Yep. And that's what, it don't take much to fool people. Like, there's people that right now think that Paranormal Activity is real.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the fact there are 17 alternate endings to every film. But, like I said, I guess on that note, though, we'll wrap it up, because I'm sure we ran over a little bit more than we wanted to go over on this, but it's okay, because why not? When you're having a good conversation, why not end it?
That's right.
On that note, I guess we'll start to wrap this episode up. And of course, like, Goob isn't like Tate. He's not going to take off on you. He'll be back the next episode. But before we do sign off here, Goob, these people may not know you are in a band, and the band's name is what?
Bury Me Memories.
And they're on Facebook. They're on the, what's that website where you can stream your music?
It's ReverbNation.com, but you can go straight from Facebook onto our page, and you can go there and you can download our demos for free. And check it out. It's real southerny sounding, if you can't tell by the accents.
Yeah, they're used to me trying to show my rap music to them all the time. They'll be happy to hear your stuff because it's not rap. I don't think the horror community overall is really that into rap music. They're more into your style of music. And if there is anybody locally that's listening, Goob and his band have a benefit show coming up on the 3rd of February. It's at the VFW, right?
Correct. At 7 o'clock. It's a benefit show for Teresa Dukowitz. I might say her name wrong. She recently passed away from cancer, and all the money's going to go to the Cancer Society. So there's going to be like a silent auction at 6 there, and my band will be playing at 7. Then after that, it'll be a great band from Murfreesboro called Dead Chain, and the Hometown Boys will be headlining it, and they're called Steady Fall, and they're really good. The other two bands, man, they got awesome vocalists that can sing, and with this band, you got me, and I sound like a damn possum in a fucking blender.
I tell you, one other thing I want to point out is because it amuses me. I was thinking about it before the show. Okay, now, you are the singer, and your name's Brandon.
Correct.
You've got a drummer. His name is Brandon.
Correct.
There is, I believe, is BJ on guitar?
He's on bass, and his name's Brandon.
He's on bass. His name is Brandon, so and then you got the other guy, and his name is what?
His name is Landon.
So, You got 3 Brandons and a Landon there, so
you can't make this up.
I know. Could you not find a 4th Brandon anywhere?
I tried so hard, but we ran out.
Yeah, I think that's probably like the Grundy area's limit on Brandons there. I don't know, especially at least metal-loving Brandons that can play music, I imagine.
Yeah, but man, like to end it on the whole band thing on our aspect, man, we like to have fun. I mean, we'll definitely take it serious, and if anything good comes out of it, we'll more likely take it, But I mean, like our music is just real. It's like stoner metal, basically. It's real slow, groovy. Like I said, the vocals are a little unique because I didn't want to sound like everything that's out right now. There's a lot of bands that I do like Whitechapel. They're real heavy, real low gutturals. Just all these other bands that's out. I'm not saying that they all sound the same, but there's some bands that you can put a CD in and you're like, is that a Case of Strain? And you're like, no, that's that's Whitechapel, or they all sound the same. I just want to do something a little different because some people, they like the different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course now I can also at the end of the show here I can play one of your songs here at the end of the show, and there's one song you guys have out that I'm quite fond of. It's if I get the title wrong here, you have to look over it. Is it the final chapter of The New Beginning?
Oh yeah, that's one of our older ones. Yeah, that's when we first started off.
Yeah, I dig that one. I think I might insert that here at the end of the show to give everybody a taste of what you guys got, which I like it. So I think a lot of people's going to like that.
Yeah, that song is strictly about Jason. If no one knew that, if you listen to the lyrics, it is total. It's from Jason Voorhees' point of view. Like if you just listen to the lyrics, you'll be like, "Oh my God, that's total Jason."
Yep. So I definitely recommend that myself. And now, before we do sign off here, I believe we decided that next show it's going to be The Burning, 1001 Maniacs. Am I correct?
1001.
1001 Maniacs. I knew I was going to get that wrong. And The Beyond.
Yes.
So I think this should be another fun one next time. So for me and Brandon here, Mr. Goob, I guess we'll sign off, and we will see you guys again hopefully next week.
Do you remember very much?
The boy. Is he dead too?
Who?
The boy, Jason.
Jason?
In the lake, the one who attacked me, the one who pulled me underneath the water.
Ma'am, we didn't find any boy.
Then he's still there.
My life has forever changed the night. Still stands the brain, the past lives here today. Everyone around me is gone. No one wants this mountain sun. It's up to me to set myself free. To set myself free. A new beginning. The weak will not survive. The strong will stay alive to see through these blind
like the sky. This just got out of hand. Before you see, it's now alright. Only now the past can help you win. 'Cause I don't wanna drown here again. Bury me, memories, bury me, memories, bury me, memories, bury me, memories. Bury me. Bury me. Bury me. A final chapter. From the beginning. Your life has forever changed the night. Still stands to break your path. Die. This just got out of hand. Before you see, it's now alright. Only now the past can help you out. 'Cause I don't wanna drown here again. I don't wanna drown here again. I don't wanna drown here again. Please don't let me drown here again. The final chapter now beginning. The final chapter now beginning.